What a day, huh? Has it been a good one? I would like to thank a couple people. The Johnston Center and the University of Redlands for being such gracious hosts for us today. Especially Tim Sieber, and Erica Smith in the development office, who ran interference for us with the university administration. Unfortunately, she's not here, but thank you, Erica. And Jeanette and Anthony, who are in the back row, who make Johnston work. Honestly, without you guys, this would not have happened. A giant asteroid would have smashed the moon and blocked out the sun for 1,000 years. We would have eaten dog food until we starved. Everybody would have given up on their sustainability commitments. And so thank you for not letting that happen. You might wonder, maybe you're not wondering anymore, why this event is happening in collaboration with the Johnston Center and the University of Redlands. And it's easy to say Tom's an alum, so he came back to his alma mater and attracted IGIHOF here. But that isn't the story. I alluded to it this morning briefly. Johnston doesn't have a class reunion for each class. It has a renewal every 5 years, and everybody is invited to come who's ever been part of the Johnston community, and we all show up. And so the day is structured very much like today was structured, in fact. And it was at the renewal last spring, right about this time, when the light bulb went on, finally, and I thought, all these people at Johnston who I've known over the years have been entrepreneurs in whatever they choose to do in life to make the world a better place. Wouldn't it be amazing to put them together with green business and green nonprofit pioneers and see what happens? Because the conversations are going to be more engaging and more challenging and deeper than they ever are when you have one group of people isolated, right? I mean, this is what we talked about in the community meeting this afternoon. IGIHOF used to do educational events with major universities and technical high schools every year prior to COVID, but it was always at a different university, and there was never a lasting community at the university that would build rapport. And the goal, one of IGIHOF's goals for a long time, has been to build a lasting partnership with an educational institution to create these kind of events. And when I pitched it to the IGIHOF board and to Tim and Erica, everybody ate up the idea. And so it's our hope that today was the trial balloon, and we'll see what the reception is after today. But it seems to me that the opportunity to create something really impactful here is rich with opportunity. So our hope is that will happen. So the future of IGIHOF's work looks really bright, and the future of Johnston's work, to me, looks really bright, because I see the same fire that I saw when those three in the back row, who were my classmates, kind of expressed too. So I want to say thank you again, and I would like to invite Tim Sieber up to say a few words.
I come to you down one fingernail. I have no idea where I lost it in the course of events today. I don't feel like I did battle, but apparently I did. So please excuse the makeshift Band-Aid. You do what you can. So I'd like to, of course, begin by echoing Tom's remarks, thanking my colleagues, Jeanette and Anthony, who I have had to ask to do so many tasks in the past 7, 14, 21, 35 days, and the fruits of that labor have been visible to me all day in getting to chat with my students this morning as they were sort of groggily or maybe hungoverly setting up the welcoming table and making themselves some espressos, in listening to recounts of conversations that happened in classrooms during the morning, and getting to chat with individuals and groups of people, not just about what we're here doing, but also their lives' work and their passions and their families. And my bubbly personality notwithstanding, I'm actually deeply at my core very cynical. And so most of the time when I meet new people, what's going on out here is nothing like what's going on in here. I'm generally thinking, how the hell do I get out of here as quickly as possible? And I usually say things like, I think my dog might be sick, even though he's not telling me that. Or I'll be like, oh, my insulin monitor is beeping, gotta go. And it's a credit to you all wonderful people that I've not used either of those excuses at all today, but by the way, my dog is not feeling well. No, kidding. I have been, since Thursday morning, really stricken by the quality and the intensity and the availability of tonight's inductees to the students that I work with and try to support every day. Deb, who got here early, was conscripted into my class on Thursday morning, and I thought, okay, we'll have a couple questions. We will, say a couple acronyms and then get to the planning for tomorrow. But instead, we ran right up to the end of class because my students just wanted to keep hearing from her, and she has more and exciting things to say about education and chemistry and geography and the government and the United Nations. And I just thought, well, this is above my pay grade. Like, I don't know what's going on here. But I do know that my students were very excited by the opportunity. And then that continued last night at dinner, where so many of you got to interact with 6 or 7 Johnston students in a very informal setting as they asked you questions about your life and your work. And they may not want to be executives or marketing professionals, but they were inspired and intrigued by simply the passion and depth of knowledge that you all have in your areas of interest, in your businesses, in your lives. And I've been thinking this whole time, what if everyone leaves this room or this event and says, well, that was shitty, and that would be okay. You're allowed to have your own opinions. But what is a mark of success for me is that on Monday morning, I will chat with some of my students about who they interacted with, what they learned, an opportunity they have. And Deb, I do know that 5 of my students have already requested you on LinkedIn. I've heard about it. The connections that they have made. I'll be very brief. Earlier at the community meeting, I was sort of exhausted, sweaty, tired. And so my colleague Julie knows very well that in meetings, what I like to do is sort of sit and wait until the very end of a meeting until I try to synthesize, process, and give context or form to what we've talked about. This is how I like to share my point of view. Mostly it's because I don't have much going on up here, so I need other people to tell me the information so I can put it all together. Swiss cheese up in this. And so as I was listening to folks kind of debate and talk and think about terms and processes and organizations and structures, what I thought more than anything was, oh, this may be unfamiliar to lots of us, but to me, this is very familiar. This process of thinking about what advocacy is, what business is, what justice might mean, that is what we in the Johnston Center call integration. Asking people to not see disparate things as inherently disparate, but only artificially so, giving you the opportunity to create connections and bridges. And so I hope, if you have not become sick of me in the past 24 hours, that we will be able to continue to make those connections and bridges with one another after our ceremony this evening. So again, thank you for attending the University of Redlands. Back when I was getting my PhD, I got my degree and I got my job here, and I was a little baby professor. I was 27 years old, and I remember I emailed my PhD mentor, Julia Bryan Wilson, and I was like, Julia, I got this job at the University of Redlands, and she's at UC Berkeley, and she said, great, we'll be able to see each other. And I was like, bitch, no, that is not the Redwoods, it's Redlands. And it can be the kind of place that people think over, look over, fly over, but in fact, it's a unique and distinguished place, mostly because we have the opportunity for events like today. So thank you for attending, and I will turn it over with a toast to Adam, who will be the master of ceremonies. I have heard he has prepared some jokes or at least one joke that he will repeat multiple times. So with no further ado, the IGIHOF board chair, Adam.
I've been told it's bad luck to toast with water, so I'm off to a terrible start. Thank you very much. I gotta turn this down to my height. And thanks again to the University of Redlands for being our hosts. I'm Adam Fromson, chair of the IGIHOF Board of Directors. This is the first induction ceremony I've been able to attend in person. Before we begin the ceremony, I'd like to thank a few additional people for making this day possible. They include the IGIHOF Board of Directors, the Advisory Board, and the IGIHOF Event Committee. Erica Smith, Tim Sieber, and the students from Johnston and the University of Redlands. I'd like to thank our sponsors, who this year include members of our board and the Johnston alumni. You made this day possible, and we're deeply appreciative of your generosity. As Tom said, IGIHOF's mission has always been to recognize today's green industry leaders, pioneers, and help them foster the next generation of sustainability leaders. The Hall of Fame was founded in 2008 by a businessman from California's Central Valley named Sam Guile. Sam helped put together a team of volunteers to create a virtual online Hall of Fame that's based entirely on merit. We're an all-volunteer 501c3 nonprofit organization that does not engage in pay-to-play. The nomination process for the Hall of Fame is open to the public at no cost to the nominator or the nominee. All nominations are made through our website at gogreenhall.org. A committee of board members evaluates and vets each nominee according to ensure that there is no greenwashing. IGIHOF looks for innovators and pioneers who make significant contributions to a greener world and the green industry. Have they made significant innovations? Were these innovations pioneering in their field, market, or industry? Have or will their contributions be transformational? Have they demonstrated best practices in their field, market, or industry? Were they first to market their product, services, processes, or other innovations? And because we're focused on identifying leaders and pioneers, have they also been noticed and recognized by others? In other words, IGIHOF does not vet nominees according to technocratic metrics and scoring. Instead, we honor people and organizations that show exceptional leadership in going above and beyond the usual expectations of business leaders. If you were not able to spend the day with us, you're about to meet some of them. Naturally, the Hall of Fame has grown over the years. A quick look at the past points out that the Hall of Fame is truly international, that it covers a wide range of business sizes, markets, and interests. And their membership also includes entrepreneurial pioneers from the nonprofit, education, and communication sectors as well. I hope you'll spend some time looking into our past inductees. They're an impressive bunch. The Hall of Fame will continue to grow in the coming years, and I hope you'll consider nominating people and organizations that further our mission. By the way, nominations begin right after this week. This is actually not a joke. They begin on April 1st. We're building a community of like-minded innovators who share a commitment to creating a greener, healthier, more sustainable future. With this in mind, we're committed to building upon today's event to forge a lasting, long-term partnership between our inductees and the University of Redlands to support, mentor, and help inspire a new generation of visionaries, innovators, and sustainability leaders. And now it's time to induct this year's new members into the International Green Industry Hall of Fame. Let's meet them. Blink charging. Oh, you didn't know you were going to start off. This is why I don't send out the table of contents first. None. Hey, there's nothing else to live up to. The electric transportation revolution is underway, and it promises to usher in better health, clearer skies, and a more stable climate. Those of you who live here in the Inland Empire, imagine being able to see the beautiful mountains every day of the year. Blink Charging is at the forefront of this revolution by making electric vehicle charging reliable, convenient, and accessible to everyone around the world. Here to accept this year's award from Blink Charging, Jennifer Yoakley, their Chief Marketing Officer.
All right. Hi, for those who haven't met, my name is Jen Yoakley. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer and I'm Head of Government Affairs for Blink Charging. Blink Charging is an EV infrastructure company that is committed to getting green, making the world a little bit greener by putting in and supporting the EV infrastructure movement. It is so humbling to be here. I have had the opportunity. My favorite thing about this, no offense, my favorite thing about this has been hanging out with the students and listening to the students and the people that are working with the students. And I am so excited, friends, about what I see with these students. I'm so excited about their passion and what our future is. Being inducted here and being able to see this has been so tremendously powerful. With that said, this is absolutely a humbling experience, and it's a tremendous honor for me and for Blink Charging. We are the first EV manufacturer company to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, and I am so excited to hold that spot. So, for those of you that don't know, Blink Charging's mission is to enable drivers, hosts, and fleets to transition to the electric transportation through innovative charging solutions. Y'all say that 3 times fast, and I'll buy you a drink. To make that a reality, and you've seen it on my pen, we believe in listening, learning, and I think that's why we're here today. We are committed to listening to the market and understanding what they need. We're committed to listening to the people in this room to understand what we need to do to be a better steward of our environment and the climate. And that is really powerful. One of the things we work to at Blink is converting range anxiety to range confidence. What is range anxiety? All right, do y'all know what range anxiety is? Let me tell you what range confidence is. Range confidence is when you know you have the right charger in the right place at the right time. And that is what Blink does. Make sure that we understand the needs. You're going to get the right charger in the right place. That's a fraction of our business, friends. We're looking forward. We're looking at how we take this to the next level. How do we do vehicle? How do we do solar to battery storage so we can put chargers anywhere and everywhere? Blink is this global company, and we're really looking to wrap our arms around that. I'm almost there. Hold on. All right, so Blink is 100% not the biggest EV charging company. We are a global company. We have a footprint all over the world, but we are this little engine that could, friends. We're the ones out there that are like, we understand the industry's different. We understand that the government can't be involved. We understand that this doesn't need to be a political. This is about the environment. This is about a sustainable world. This is about making it better for our children and their children and their children. That's what's important to us. Since Blink also is an organization that is completely focused on the future, it's particularly this award here. University Redlands, surrounded by the Johnston Center. Guys, you have something so amazing to be proud of. And again, I am truly, truly honored to be here. So thank you, friends, A, for inviting me, B, for having such awesome conversation, C, allowing me to accept this award on behalf of Blink. Thank you, friends.
Okay. On to our next inductee. Climate Resolve. Entrepreneurship is not limited to the for-profit sector. Every once in a while, you discover a nonprofit organization that takes an entrepreneurial approach to tackling some of the challenges businesses are not equipped to address. Climate Resolve is such an organization. They often work at the nexus of public interest, government, communication, and entrepreneurship to demonstrate solutions that will have a lasting impact. It's often said that if we can address climate change in Los Angeles, cities everywhere will benefit. Accepting for Climate Resolve, please welcome the founder and executive director, Jonathan Parfrey.
This is very humbling. And I have to say that I first met Adam a few weeks ago by email, introduced by Tom Bowman. And Tom Bowman and I go back a few years. We've actually worked together on some projects. About Tom, and I think it was borne out today, that when he speaks with the authority of truth, of things that resonate in the heart. And I think that is a reflection of this organization. And what we are trying to do, bring an entrepreneurial spirit of drive and innovation to the environmental nonprofit sector. But we push ourselves, try to innovate, challenge ourselves. And here's the thing that we do that I'm most proud of: take risks. And we are not always the most beloved. We don't play it the safest in our organization. We push the envelope, test things. And why would we do this? Why would we be so risky? In the same way that the people in this room who are entrepreneurs, you've been risky. You've gone out on the edge. Gambled with your reputation or with money. You've taken it. We're trying to do that in our organization as well. Here's why. Change is real. It's a thing called climate inertia, which means that everything that's in the atmosphere now will be around for the next 25, 30 years, regardless of what kind of emissions we do. And the emissions of 25, 30 years ago are still here, and the emissions of yesterday will be here for another 25, 30 years. So like, even if we become climate saints tomorrow, it's in the pipeline that we are going to experience still hotter weather, more energy being collected on the planet. expressing itself in severe weather events. So I don't want to be a bummer about these things, but to do it, to address this massive existential issue for our fellow humans and for the critters that we share the planet with, some chances to dare ourselves to make things better. I think IGIHOF is that kind of group. That is a collection of people who try to take the next step. And with that, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart and appreciate you. And I'm delighted to be representing Climate Resolve, who gladly accepts this award. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Intomo Farms. Telling people they must change their diets to reduce the environmental impact of livestock production is a difficult and often fruitless undertaking. What if you did not need to have those conversations? What if instead you could offer protein-rich superfoods without the resource and waste-intensive environmental impacts? Intomo Farms is doing exactly that by deriving such proteins from crickets, effectively upcycling household organic waste as insect food to make a low-carbon contribution to human nutrition. Unfortunately, Intomo Farms is not able to join us in person today. Let's please acknowledge their induction from a distance instead. Our next inductee is located right here in Redlands, California. But their products and services truly have a global reach. Esri created the world's leading geographical information system software, or GIS, for high-resolution mapping for researchers, businesses, and resource managers, policymaking, education, and more. The company's work is a foundational resource for ecosystem restoration and management, disaster response, and building community resilience. Accepting for Esri, please welcome Cindy Elliott, Director of Business Industry Sector and Corporate Responsibility.
Thank you. The room's not that big. Is it okay if I stand on the line for you? I'm a little height challenged, so vertical challenged. You can also take the mic with you if you want. Okay. Everybody hear me okay?
Oh, it's for the video.
Oh, it's for the video. Okay.
Are you comfortable with that?
Well, thank you, everyone. I'm very honored on behalf of Esri to accept the award and for Esri to get the recognition that I believe it so deserves in so many ways. But for those of you who may not know, we were founded by Jack and Laura Dangermond, and they still run and operate the company today. They founded Esri in 1969 with a view of how can technology and a better understanding of geography help protect our planet and make the planet a more sustainable and livable space, not only for the environment, for the people across the planet. So to have that vision, for over 50 years, they went to Redlands High School, back to Redlands and built their business. And because of the proximity to the university, of course, we have a wide range of our staff who have school here, come through here, and then ultimately build their careers to kind of help that entrepreneurial spirit of Jack and Laura kind of flourish. We now provide technology and data across the planet where our maps and data are used by organizations in the millions every day. And again, their whole ambition was not to be the heroes, but to create thousands and tens of thousands of heroes across the planet every day. So again, it's a real honor. And now with the IGIHOF kind of extension of that relationship, we're very excited to learn how can this idea of mapping and understanding our planet to be better and to create that access. We heard about access in a conversation today. How can that better scale and amplify what everyone in the room is trying to do and the communities that we serve are trying to do? But thank you again. Truly an honor. It's been a pleasure to be introduced here today and to have the day to spend with all of you.
From Redlands, we now travel all the way to Nicaragua, where for 135 years, Flor de Caña has been producing sustainable, award-winning, single estate rums. Theirs is the first spirit to be certified as both carbon neutral and fair trade certified. Flor de Caña is truly a pioneer, planting 50,000 trees annually, distilling rum using 100% renewable energy, and sustaining healthy and productive farming practices. Their 5-generation story of family ownership is truly engaging. Accepting for Flor de Caña, please welcome Luis Baez, Global Brand Ambassador.
Well, thank you so much. My wife works for the World Food Program, the United Nations. When we go out to dinner, we meet people. First thing they ask, what do you do? She says she's a humanitarian. When it comes to me, I say, I'm a humanitarian. She rolls her eyes, and then I start talking to people about Flor de Caña, and I talk to them about what I do. So we bring the fun. You'll enjoy it in just a second. But once I started working with the company, I really found out the depth of values that it has. And one of those values that has lasted throughout the 135 years of the company history is the commitment to sustainability. So as you heard in the description at the beginning, we are the first global spirit to be fair trade certified and carbon neutral. And we love the fact that it's third parties that give us that distinction and certify our processes. And there's a third one that's called Bon Sucro, which certifies our practices in the farming of the sugarcane. One of the things that gets us to that point is the fact that we distill this amazing rum with 100% renewable energy. A little bit earlier today in one of the forums, we were talking about the process of making rum. So we have 35,000 acres, single estate, of sugarcane. We cut that down, we crush it, we get the juice out, We use the juice to make the sugar, and one of the byproducts is the molasses. The molasses is going to be fermented. In the fermentation process, we capture all the CO2 emissions. We sell that back to the carbonated drink industry. So if you have a Coca-Cola or a beer in Nicaragua, chances are it was carbonated with our CO2. Then after it goes to distillation, then to aging, and then eventually to the Redlands, where we bought this a little bit earlier at Total Wine and More. Shameless plug where you can get it if you live around here. The company has a zero waste mentality. The carbonation, or selling the CO2 for carbonation, using sugar and the molasses to build the rum and the sugar industry. And we use the bagases, the fiber of that sugar cane that we crush to get the juice out, as biomass, as biofuel. That's how we distill with 100% renewable energy. And we make so much energy that 3% of Nicaragua's energy grid is powered by our plant. But that's only one aspect of sustainability, and I think that's one of the great things that I heard today. Green initiatives and environmental initiatives are fantastic, but we can't forget about the community, the impacts we have on the community, and our collaborators. And so we like to think that we make the world a better place one drink at a time, that we're trying to build a greener future together with everyone who works with us and collaborates with us in one way or another. And being able to be here as part of this wonderful event leaves me not only humbled but excited to see what can happen when you get people who share the same passion for doing things right in a room trying to think about doing things right. And I think if there's one thing that we can all take away when we go back to wherever we are based at is, how can we give this sustainability journey a multiplication effect and inspire other people to join us? And so hopefully you'll join me by drinking the first fair trade and carbon neutral certified. But it is in whatever we do that we can make a difference. I leave here truly inspired by all that you do, and cheers to you. Thank you.
Okay. The Green Business Lab. Many of the Hall of Fame inductees you met throughout the day figured out how to innovate on their own. Not every business or business leader is in a position to figure things out without assistance. Not every business experiments to find effective solutions without guidance. This is where the Green Business Lab helps out. They developed the first business operations simulation game to help executives and managers find and implement triple bottom line solutions. Unfortunately, the Green Business Lab is not able to join us in person today. Let's please acknowledge their induction from a distance instead. Fortunately, Samantha Svoboda, the founder of the Green Business Lab, was able to send us this video.
Hi, I'm Samantha Svoboda, creator of the Green Business Lab, and I am so honored and delighted to accept this award for the Green Business Lab as a 2025 inductee into the International Green Industry Hall of Fame. I began working on business sustainability in the lab early in my career when Superfund and ozone pollution were topics of the day. People were concerned about employee environmental health and safety. Not in my backyard syndrome was prevalent, and environmental justice was not yet a topic. In general, there was a sense that sustainability could be a negative burden for business and could drag down profitability and performance. And as I talked to people, I also noticed that from across disciplines, people had essential knowledge and experience that we needed to solve our shared global challenges. Yet we tended to talk with different terms. For example, the financial bottom line, scientific research, public policy frameworks, or legal regulation. And I began to wonder what I could do to bring everybody together and to imagine a learning experience It was practical enough so that people could imagine future action. It was positive enough to motivate them, and one in which participants could test and explore different pathways to sustainability so they could draw their own conclusions and develop a vision that they had confidence in. And the result was the Green Business Lab, which is a business sustainability simulation in which participants form executive teams of companies. They compete with each other using a triple bottom line. I'd love to share stories from participants, but I'll share just one today. I was speaking with a woman last week who said that the lab gave her an opportunity for the first time to really deeply explore her values and develop her perspective for how she as a businesswoman wanted to impact the environment and society during her career. She said that the experience shaped her perspective, and she's sure it will serve her well throughout her career. Once again, thank you so much. I am so honored, and I'm truly sorry that I couldn't be with you today. I hope that our paths will cross again sometime in the future. Thank you.
Three-dimensional marketing, meaning exhibitions, corporate events, pop-up stores, and retail, have been called some of the most wasteful industries due to the rapid turnover of fixtures, structures, and graphics. In an industry with literally thousands of design and production companies, one firm pioneered a different path. That company is Image 4. The company has been called the greenest company in the exhibits industry due to their relentless and innovative approach to minimizing pollution, reducing waste, re-engineering manufacturing processes to use recycled materials, and energy efficiency. Accepting for Image 4, please welcome co-founder and CEO Jeff Baker.
Been a long ride. And shortly to celebrate our 40th anniversary, and after 40 years, you scratch your head a little bit about the concept of entrepreneurship. I did my thing. I started it out. That's an entrepreneur. And I give great credit to my staff, especially the most recent generation coming in, the 23 to 30-year-olds, to maintain that energy and keep pushing us to be a better organization. You know, those of us who may have become a little jaded over those 40 years. All of a sudden have this new energy. We're starting to look at our processes in a yet different way. We've matured from the photo lab that we once were, with roughly 150 chemicals and 79 carcinogens, where this made a tremendous difference. How we were approaching the environment, what we were doing in the environment, to a much more digitally based process where the manufacturers of those materials have changed the construction of those materials so we don't have to concentrate quite so much on it. We're still trying to purge vinyl. Vinyl is final. It's terrible. It's very difficult to get away from. But we're working on it. We still print graphics on PLA recycled fabric, sources, Coke bottles, etc. Probably a third to half of our production is on a sustainable material of some sort. We have very active recycling we're a manufacturing plant as well as a design firm. That money goes back into the organization. Broadening the concepts of sustainability allows us to manage our costs, increase some profit, return that profit to the employees. We're a profit-sharing organization. That money goes out into their families and thus into the community. We become tied to that as part of that success loop. A tremendous labor shortage in New Hampshire. We're losing the great majority of our college graduates because of the cost structure. And anything that we can do as a business to keep potential employees in our neighborhoods and then reach out to them and bring them on sustains my business. So it's another concept of sustainability that we don't necessarily look at. So we're still working in this idea of sustainability, but it's become much more holistic over the last several years. It's not just environmental sustainability, it's community sustainability and what's good for the community business. So I thank everyone very much for recharging me. This is an experience. I thank Tom for reconnecting and reminding us of the great fun and great energy we had when we were working together. As like so many others, I'm very humbled to accept this. I appreciate it. Thank you.
If you've looked at past inductees on the IGIHOF website, you might have seen Michael Benelli, founder of the Sustainability Laboratory. Today, we're inducting the Sustainability Laboratory itself, which works on multiple continents to develop and implement groundbreaking sustainability practices. Noted for their holistic and systems thinking approach, the lab's projects have restored ecosystems in ways that support local communities and their economies, improve social capital, and create lasting improvements for both people and natural ecosystems. Accepting for the Sustainability Laboratory is its founder, Michael Benelli.
Well, just say a couple of words again. Oh, the ram is here. Can I open it or what?
Well, you know, I think you have to. A little birdie told me that you've got a birthday coming up. I heard you're turning 31 this weekend?
32.
32. My mistake.
All right. Well, thank you, first of all, to everyone. Of course, the IGIHOF and my colleagues and all the people who have been supporting the lab over the years. You know, I just realized that actually the lab was established in 2008, the same time that IGIHOF born. So in many ways, our thoughts are intertwined, Sami. The lab was actually established with a very simple concept in mind, and that is that the kind of challenges that humanity faces today in the transition that we have to make to a sustainable trajectory of some sort are entirely unprecedented. There's really no experts. No one has any experience of managing about 10 billion people on the planet in a more or less peaceful, harmonious, and abundant way. So there's no cookbook, there's no recipe that you can just follow. Most of the organization that I was exposed to and worked with over the years, largely the large international development, multilateral development agencies like the World Bank, some of the United Nations development agencies and so forth, are simply, and some people and some companies who entered that space in the early years, are simply not built for the kind of radical innovation that we need to experiment with. If you want to develop a career at the World Bank, you can't make mistakes. So you can't really experiment freely. And where do you experiment? You experiment in a lab. What does the planet need now? A global laboratory for sustainability innovation. Nobody was doing it, why not do it? So this is 2008. And so it was, of course, a very naive, if you like, and I like to call it many times, Don Quixotic concept for one person to write, but we launched the lab. And over the year, I think that with relatively very modest resources, we have achieved quite a big impact and recognition around the world. Basically, the idea of the lab is to develop a portfolio of demonstration model projects over time in different parts of the world that demonstrate the application of the sustainability principles that I alluded to them in the morning, but also build the lab as a network of activity centers around the world that map onto different ecozones. And heretofore, we were able to form activities with arid zones, ecosystems, and deserts with the Ben Gurion University in Israel, dry and humid tropics with Earth University in Costa Rica, now alpine with the Royal University of Bhutan, and recently with the University of Las Palmas for island ecology. And we hope over the years to be able to cover, so to speak, all the biomes of the planet. I think that today the lab is at the point where we need to reconfigure, re-engineer it, and take it to the next level in its operations. And for that, we invite anyone to join us in any kind of partnership that bring forth the contribution to the sustainability agenda. Now, as we get here together to celebrate each other's and IGIHOF in that beautiful moment, I think we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that at the moment, most main forces in the world are going in exactly 180 degrees to where we need to go. And that's, of course, what makes IGIHOF's existence and work even more poignant. So thank you very much appreciated, and see you all soon.
From small communities in the Gobi Desert, we now travel to the C-suites of some of the world's largest multinational corporations, where Andrew Winston has long been advising corporate leaders on ways to embrace sustainability. Along with Daniel Esty, Andrew Winston researched and co-authored the best-selling classic Green to Gold, which analyzed how some corporations were meeting and exceeding their environmental commitments. A highly respected author, speaker, and advisor, Andrew Winston continues to help leadership make progress and integrate environmental thinking into their operations. Unfortunately, Andrew is unable to join us in person today, but he sends his acceptance by video.
Hi, I'm Andrew Winston. I am very honored and humbled by being part of this year's class of inductees. It's an amazing list of organizations and people doing really important work. I wish I could be there with you for this world event. I'm away on vacation with my family. I'm too young, young men, gens, and girls, and we can share them together as our schedules conflict. But I'm honored to be part of this group. I think the work that everybody in this list is doing is really critical. I think, as everyone knows, we are in a very challenging time. I've been in sustainability for 25 years, and my role in the world is in many ways as a storyteller. It's partly to identify the story that we're all fighting, this idea that the purpose of business is just short-term shareholder profits, and the purpose of society or government is just growth and just the stock market, and replace it with something deeper, more nuanced, more connected. I think all of these honorees are working towards that. So I am really honored to be part of it, especially in these very tough times, as we are as challenged as I've ever seen. And this work is more critical than ever. We are facing challenges to the very nature of our work, and we have to maintain focus and energy and some optimism that we are going to win this battle, that we are going to tackle our biggest existential threats together. And I think we can. Thank you again to IGIHOF for inviting me to be part of this, and I'm honored to be part of it and hope that we will all continue to work very hard to build a thriving future. Thank you so much.
Finally, I have I have a surprise to announce. This year, IGIHOF is to make one additional induction that none of you know about. To resolve this mystery, I'd like to invite Michael Benelli back to the microphone.
Well, you know, I'm very rarely speechless, but this moment I am. What IGIHOF board decided is to honor one of my greatest heroes, Sam, as an inductee. Please join us here.
For those of you that weren't here last night to hear my sermon, I'll repeat it. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. I really am totally shocked right now, and I'm not worthy of the same level of honor as the people who have been inducted, who have done great things. Now, I had a business, and we greened it up and did all that good stuff. But I think the work that you've done and the work that almost 100 of our inductees have done is far more impressive. I just saw an opportunity to fill a gap and to help organizations get air under their wings. That really was the primary first mission, is to help these companies market in a low-key way
in a humble way, their ideas and their products, okay? The second the idea was to create a database, some kind of a house of information, so young people could learn from these great architects, right? Inventors, pioneers, and not do it the same, but do it better. So that leads me up to my next point, and that is doing it better. And that is why Adam Prompson is here. Because, as I said when I left the companies that I've left, I didn't come here to just do the work. I came here to develop people to do better than what I did and what our other leaders have done in the company. That's the name of the game, right? So when we put IGIHOF together, I received a book from a gentleman by the name of Ira Ehrenpreis. Anybody here know who that is? Ira Ehrenpreis. He's on the board of Tesla. He gave me a book called The Force of Nature. Anybody here read this book, Force of Nature? Do you know what's in it? You know what it's about? It's about the establishment of the NRCD, John and Mary Adams. It's a powerful, powerful book, and anybody in this space should read this book. This is really the beginning. So I see myself as somebody who's taken the baton from them forward. So I'm going to give this book to Adam, and it's autographed by John and Mary Adams. So this is a very valuable book in my mind in terms of history and young people moving forward. So I want to present that to you. Enjoy the book. Are you ready to hand it off to the next leader of this organization? And in closing, I'd like to say that my wife and I, Donna, 48 years, have amassed quite a few books on green, and they're in the back. And we're donating those books to the school here, and hopefully to establish a environmental sustainability library. And many of them are autographed by the authors. And so they're really cool. Okay? So anyway, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And congratulations to everybody here. And the board members, the alumni, the folks that work here. They've done a fabulous job. And the folks that receive their recognition. Long overdue, but you've got it. And that's what counts. So go forward and conquer. Huh? All right, thanks.
I know I was supposed to have this slide up, but I feel like we said it all, so.
By the way, these plaques are handmade by Janet Onco. They're fired ceramics, and she does a wonderful job, and she does it with help.
And on this one, I'd love to give a great plug for Fairware. They did a fabulous job with this. It's fair trade. It's got moss in the center, and they did a nice job with an extra award to honor all the work you've done to start IGIHOF and carry it this past 17 years.
Thanks, Bill. Thank you very much. Peace. I want that bottle of rum.
I feel like everybody made false promises to snag this bottle of rum off of here. This concludes the 2025 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. To the inductees, thank you for your amazing work. I hope you'll stay engaged with us. Can we please have another round of applause for our inductees? Before releasing you back into the wild, I'd like to thank again one more time the University of Redlands and the Johnston Center for Integrative Studies for collaborating with IGIHOF to create this amazing day and to host this ceremony. We hope to return next year and grow this relationship for a long time to come. Thank you to all for attending and to those of you who joined us virtually. And I do have one last ask before everybody takes off for the evening. If we just had one person, two people, join each of us next year, some of us will be standing out in the hallway, and we'll have to find a bigger room. So I look forward to seeing everybody next year with a few new friends. Safe travels and good night.